Hi folks, Dave, the man from the East. I just wanted to let everybody know that I have received my Once Upon a While book, and I've gone through it. And this is getting ready to give you all the clues that I found in it. And if you are not ready to be convinced, just shut the thing off right now. I'm going to tell you, there's so many clues in here that are literally validating everything I've said. If you have not watched the one and only True Solve by the True Solver, please just go watch that first so you have an understanding of what I'm about to say. I don't want it to seem like it's you don't understand it. Just make sure that whatever I say here, this is going to change everything. It has to, because there can only be a certain amount of a level of stupidity from the Fenn community, which I understand. They don't want to let go of their solve. They don't want to give up their channel, whatever. But this is going to happen because the people behind the Fenn community, the smart ones, and I want to give you guys credit, but you just don't want to see it, and you don't want to give in. That's okay. It's going to happen. The one true solver is finally going to give the right thing where it's seen and everybody knows, and you go back to the books and you can see how it lines up. So this is just a preparation video for Once Upon a While clues. I'm probably going to try to put it behind the other clues that I already did in the video for books 1 and 2, but some of it I didn't even bring in. There's so much info here that I just want to touch on so you guys know. Anyways, I'll be back shortly. All right, I'm back. Folks, I do want to, I'm going to give you the page number of what I read, explain to you a little bit on each subject. But some of them, they don't really matter. It's just something I think I've seen before, and I know it has some kind of way to connect in here. And maybe you people will know. Maybe somebody will say, hey, no, I know what that means. But as far as that, on the front cover, Once Upon a While, inside, he talks as a little saying. He also says some of his words have calluses on them. Now, I looked at some of the words in the book that were cursive, and I picked up on a couple of things here that I think some people that have followed me and understand how important Superman is in this whole solve, they're going to start to realize how this fits in. And I didn't until just now. Yesterday I found a huge one that I'll towards the end. But anyways, those calluses, when he said that at the beginning, it let me know to look at some of the words that were written in cursive. Like he said throughout the other books, he's repeated it, and this is why. All right, page 4. He loved shows and music. He talked about. I'm probably going to put pictures in. I want this video out as soon as I can. So it's going to be, it may not be until tomorrow or the next day that I end up getting everything put together and done. But anyways, he loved his TV shows and music. And he talked about them. He talked about A Sunday Kind of Love. He talked about watching shows with the family. In this book, he brings up a bunch of different things. Reading books and comics and other things. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. Page 4 has a lot of info on that. Page 7. It was a huge monster of an iron-looking thing. Now, to me, I started thinking iron, maybe in the iron slide that he brought up in the other video. I thought maybe it was the big brown rock down near Palisade Hill. But I'm starting to think differently because of the way he brings in iron each time. The Iron Rooster he talks about later. And you know what? I'll touch on this when I get to the Iron Rooster. Because I think it's kind of big. All right, we're moving on to page 8. I was so proud. I started laughing with an insane sense of empowerment. I really showed those guys. And I did it at night. Just wait till the news gets a hold of that, I thought. So he's telling you he went in at night. But this is the sense of accomplishment. This was him jumping off the bridge. But he's saying that once the news gets a hold of having to go in at night to get the treasure chest, I think that's where that insinuation is, or that association, however you want to put it. But that's only my guess. And then he says, accomplishing difficult tasks sometimes requires only a simple mental adjustment. So you need to figure out how to get it. It's a mental adjustment, or figuring out the end of the poem, however you want to put it. It's all in there. Page 11. So like I said, some of these are going to fit a little bit, some are going to fit a real lot. Not every story has a actual clue in it. There's a lot of stories I skipped there. So, page 11, sweet fragrances. He talks about in his mother's kitchen when he was a kid. Brings up how the taste of vanilla was really horrible. It smelled great. He brought up, these are all the different fragrances and spices that he brought up. Bay leaves, rosemary, oregano, cloves, poppy seeds, thyme, ground cumin, paprika, cayenne pepper, turmeric, lemon pepper, mace, allspice, pickling spice, ground cardamom, nutmeg, garlic powder, celery salt. He brought up all those spices, talked about all of them. What's the only spice he didn't bring up that's everybody has in their pantry? All right. Now let me just tell you a word there. Maybe he forgot about talking about cinnamon. Oh, look at that connection. That's the only one he didn't bring up out of all the spices. Now you would think, I remember having cinnamon on my pancakes when I was a kid. Something about cinnamon, cimarron. I'll touch on why, because in the first two books, when I realized what was going on, and then I saw that little clue ahead of time, somebody brought up the things I was looking for in Once Upon a While was anything to do with Superman or Aunt Esther, the TV shows. All right, these are things that I wanted to look for in this book, and not to force fit, just to validate. These people that keep saying I force fit stuff, I'm not. I'm just validating more, and you people don't see it yet. So, okay, in that story about Pleiades, the constellation, I was wondering, the way it's spelled, it looks like Palisade if you were dyslexic or maybe somebody who stutters with their words. And I was interested if there was a story about possibly somebody that was mixing up words somehow. That was a thing I was looking for in the third book. Maybe he would specify in that book somehow how that would work out. I found two spots that were like that, and I'll get to those. But that was one of the things I was looking for in Once Upon a While. Any type of word screw-ups where it was so close but not. So those I'll touch on in these clues that I found. Anyways, now that we're back. Okay. He talks about page 31, Red Ryder and Little Beaver. I still believe a lot of those cartoon figures were about the St. James Hotel right down in Cimarron, because that there's so many different cartoon pictures up from Wright, who did a lot of the cartoon stuff. So, all right, now this is a huge one. I was looking for something about Superman or superheroes. Page 38 through 43. He talks about when he was a kid reading comic books, and they were actually called something else, but then they ended up being comic books. But he didn't want to really acknowledge the comic books. But Captain America was one of Forrest Fenn's favorite characters, he said. One of them. Now, I knew that Superman was huge in this whole solve. Other people don't believe it. They don't get it. Looking for Lewis and Clark. Looking for Lois and Clark. Clark Kent. Kent is on the cross. All these connections, folks. This third book, he nailed it. He's talking about Marvel superheroes. DC was Superman. Big deal. He's talking about superheroes. And he also brings in Clark, somebody else, later in the story. So these are all connections that all join together for what? Superman. It's there, folks. All you have to do is look at it. I've given you so much information that a lot of these die-hard solvers just don't want to give up their solve, and they bust my balls all the time on my channel. I don't care. Like I said, you're the ones that are missing out right now on the greatest treasure hunt solve in the past 10 years. And Jack and his gurus up there, that's why they haven't put anything out. They know that I'm coming closer and closer to everything that Forrest intended with his stories, and especially with this one. And I'll get you at the end with this one. All right, so Superman, Captain Marvel, it's there, page 47. And promptly detonated with a furious ricocheting blast that was heard clear down to the cemetery, 2 miles distant. Now, distant is far off. He says 2 miles from. This is what my take on that. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I don't know. When he was a kid, I don't know when the construction was going on in Gravel Pit Lakes, when that was created. I know it was a long time ago. My take, maybe. They were blowing up rock down there to take it all out for the Gravel Pit Lakes. The cemetery, when he talks about a cemetery, he's talking about Palisades Hill, where he put the cross. Because that's what he talked about, being up on the blaze and getting back down to the cemetery. It's 1.3 miles, I believe. It's not quite 2 miles, but you live on the edge, and who knows? That's what that sounds like to me, give or take. Page 50 talks about 64 years. It's Route 64 that rides through Cimarron Canyon. Whether that's made up or whether it's actually true, 64 is in there as a hint. Page 52, 53, 54, 55. Divorce logic. Now, this is one of the things I said where I was looking for some story that maybe words were mixed up somehow. Now, he says it's called divorce logic, and he talks a story about a lady that he knows who created a sculpture to burn it, just to get rid of the divorce and end everything. The guy's name was Fred, her husband. Now, Forrest didn't understand why she spelled Fred wrong. It was called Ferd, F-E-R-D. So she screws up the words in it, which I knew in some story, and I didn't have the book, folks. This is all, I'm telling you what I found, what I was looking for, and I said it in my video. Actually, I did that video about Palisades Hill again, really, like, just because I was bringing up some of the clues. Those were things I was looking for, and I think I actually said that in that story about looking for words that are screwed up somehow. And this is one of the perfect examples of it. She calls him Fred, Ferd. Mixed up words, like Palisades and Pleiades. See, I got that right this time. I know in the other video I didn't, because I didn't look. I just was excited. I put everything up. I just went on how it looked like it was spelled. So Pleiades, that word right there is it's spelled almost like Palisade, but Pleiades, it's totally different. And I'll explain about Pleiades after. All right. Where was I? Page 63. Page 63, I have a collection of fire starters and have used them at Mountain Man rendezvous. Bringing in the Mountain Man again. No place for the meek. The old man face. This is the third book. He's bringing mountain men. And there's other things he brought in the third book that were also in the first two books. Like I told you. Mountain Man wisdom and the story about mountain men. He can only tell you so many times. And this is what he's talking about. Calluses on his words. He keeps repeating the same things from Palisades Hill area and all the things around it in Cimarron Canyon. All right. Page 65. And pointed to the bullet hole in the hat. It was a bullet hole. All right? Bullet. He talks about bullet in every book. And you may say it's because of Vietnam, but it's there. He talks about Vietnam in this book multiple times because of the Vietnam War Memorial that's on between Angel Fire and Eagle's Nest. He brought it up again. I'm not even going to touch on that. I just did for you, but I didn't want to. Anyways, he talks about a bullet hole, and I'll bring more about bullet in later. Why? Page 81. My thoughts, my imagination long ago fell prey to their way of life. He brings in imagination a bunch of times because you have to use your imagination to solve this puzzle. I know that what I've been told by some of Jack's friends, again, I know they're Jack's friends that respond on my channel. They keep trying to diss me and that it's not anything to do with a solve in the books. Forrest said the clues were sprinkled throughout the books. He didn't take 15 years just to do the poem and not use anything out of the books. So these people that think and want to say and want to diss my solve, they can kiss my ass. All right. Imagination. 82. Was interred where he fell and rocks were placed on his grave. All right. There's a grave there. There's a circle of rocks. He also brings in circle of rocks later in the book. 84. I searched relentlessly for the trooper's grave. The evidence showed it to be somewhere about 46 miles north of where I lived. 46 miles. If you're dyslexic, it's 64. Route 64 goes right through where the grave. That's a connection to me. Maybe it won't be to anybody else. Like I said, some of these are little, some are big. Page 88. And if those jackasses out there that want to diss my little clues, I'm just giving you this information from what I saw. They can diss it, but I'm probably not going to answer anymore unless it's a smart question to me. Not one of these dumb little nitpicking, stupid. I'm not even going to get into it. All right, page 88. Now, this one I thought was kind of odd because it says in there, under Army supervision at Fort Sill. Now, Sill, Palisade Sill, it was under Army supervision at Fort Sill. That's the word. That's the one line I pull out of that whole thing. Now, I know up here that we have Birch Hill Dam and other places they're controlled by the Army Corps of Engineers. So the Army Corps of Engineers takes care of the dams or the state parks and other things like that. So if this at Fort Sill, if it's under Army supervision, maybe there's a Army Corps of Engineer that take care of Palisade Sill in Cimarron or the Cimarron Canyon. I don't know that. I haven't looked into it. I'm just doing this off the cuff so that I get my information out there. I'm not going to investigate 1,000 different things just to prove one point. I'm just telling you how things are up here compared to this statement under Army supervision at Fort Sill. So he brings in finally something different than a windowsill. He brings in Fort Sill. Now, page 94, the circle fire I built around her. Now, he's insinuating, I guess, a circle of rocks, a circle fire. Why would you call it that way? That seemed an odd way to announce or to say that. So I just thought it was odd. Pages 101, 102. Clark was getting a lot of publicity and winning awards at important shows. I still have a small floral by Clark. It's called A Single Rose. Now, to me, this is something to do with Clark Kent again. All right? Clark was getting a lot of publicity. Wasn't Clark a news reporter? Publicity? Clark was getting a lot of publicity. Forrest is sneaky, and he put these things in here. If you knew about Clark Kent, you're going to pick up on him. If you don't, you're lost in the woods for 25 days. All right. Clark was getting a lot of publicity. He was a news reporter. And winning awards at important shows. So, Superman, I don't know if it won any awards way back when, or when they even started awards, or if there was any Superman movie or shows that did win any awards. But to me, that means a lot with Clark and publicity. Okay? You get that connection? Superman, Clark Kent, he's a news reporter, publicity. I can only say it so many times for my ding-dongs out there. The rest of you people, I love you people. Keep watching. Thumbs up. Give me a follow, because as I said in so many of my videos, there is actually going to be somebody out there that goes, I know I have a lot of people that gave me, like 8 people that gave me thumbs up on the one and only True Solve. And there were 28 that gave me thumbs down. I know who those 28 ding-dongs are. They're either hardcore, hard-headed, knuckle-headed, I got my solve and you're wrong no matter what kind of people, or they are Jack's friends who are just trying to take away any credit and discredit my solve. That is actually Forrest Fenn's solve. So whoever wants to pick on it, you're literally picking on Forrest Fenn, which to me it hurts my feelings you feel that way. But as I've said, there's one person who solved this whole thing. And that is me, folks. And I'm giving you the reasons why. And there's some better ones coming up. Okay. Moving on to 110. The Iron Rooster of Santa Fe County. The iron, he keeps bringing in iron in every book. And I've started to realize why. Clark Kent was known as the Man of Steel, correct? That's why he brings in the iron. On the second floor, the iron slide. The Man of Steel jumping out the window from the building. He's always up, I don't know how high. But the second floor window, the iron slide. He would slide right out that window flying. It's all, to me, it's connected. And another statement in that same story. That was page 110, 112. And this one I think is really cool. Because of the connection, how close it is, but it's something different. All right, page 112, he says, someday Joanna's paintings will show at the Metropolitan Museum in New York. Metropolitan. Now, he's talking about iron again. Now, the Man of Steel, where was he from? Metropolis, was it? I think, right, if I'm not mistaken. Now, why did he pick that museum, do you think? Does it sound like Metropolis? All right, I got it. See, I get excited. I'm sorry. I'm excited because that connection is so close. Metropolis, Metropolitan Museum. It's why put that in that story about iron, an iron rooster. It's all connected with the Man of Steel. That's how he brings in Man of Steel. And again, he sprinkled these clues through, and if you started to finally figure out what it meant, it all pulls together. Metropolitan. All right, 126, and this is small writing. I'm not putting my glasses on. I know I look tired because I was up late reading last night too. All right, 126. Who were the ancient people who called this cave home? To me, he brings up the ancient people every time, whether it's because of how old Palisade Sill is, I don't know. I had a feeling before it was Monteverde Lake, because Monteverde Lake is right before Angel Fire, and Monteverde also is ancient people, like they found the oldest ancient people. I don't remember where it was. It's in my literature somewhere. But I think that connection with Verde, he talked about fishing on the Verde. He brings in Verde in the first and second book, and he brought it in this one too. So that's my connection with it. All right. So I think I went through. All right, to the next page. We're getting interesting here. Page 150. It says, quiet and an unobtrusive way. Unobtrusive way is, he was talking in a story about someone. He brings in the word unobtrusive again. Now, I've mentioned in my other stories or my other videos, as people who have watched them know, intrusive, obtrusive. Those are the key words in the first book and the second book. Intrusive in the first, obtrusive in the second book. He brings in unobtrusive again in the third book to insinuate the intrusive igneous rock at Palisade Sill. Okay? 155. Maybe it's the spirit of Amelia. He's bringing in Amelia Earhart again. This is the first book that he didn't say Maverick. But in the spirit of her being a Maverick, this is how he brought in Maverick for Maverick Campground again. And Maverick Creek, Maverick Trail. Maverick is huge in the first book and the second book. He brings him in both. And this is the spirit of Amelia. Who's Amelia? Everybody knows who Amelia is. All right. 163. To a secluded... Oh, this one's huge, folks. This is the biggie. This is the complete 115% validation. But let's see how you feel about it. All right. 163 page. To a secluded parking area that's on one page. Then you go to the next page. And you know what's on that page? It's the constellation Pleiades. The constellation Pleiades. That sounds like Palisade. Okay? That's on the next whole 2 pages. Wide open. Pleiades. And this is the story along with that. To a secluded parking area that, flip the page, was surrounded by 10-foot high oleanders and Palo Verde trees. Now, to me, something that's surrounded by trees would be a palisade. That's the definition of palisade. A wooden fence, right? I mean, how important is that when you have Pleiades right up in the background? And then you talk about mixing up words. Now, that statement of putting a palisade in a secluded parking area, if you folks aren't seeing the connection yet of Palisade, Pleiades, in that last video I just showed you how close they are. They're like one letter off, but they're mangled in there. But put together, they almost look the same, and you would screw up the word. So, Palisade, that is what the definition of what he's saying right here is. To a secluded parking area that was surrounded by 10-foot high oleanders and Palo Verde trees. A palisade. Folks, you didn't get it in the first book. You didn't get it in the second book. He's literally telling you a palisade under Pleiades in the story with the Small Dipper, the constellation. I discussed this, and that's what got me excited. I saw the constellation. I'm like, oh my God, Pleiades looks just like Palisade if you look at it fast. But the letters are a little mixed up. I wonder if there's a story with the letters mixed up. Fred, Ferd, and there's even more coming. So, page, constellation, Pleiades. All right, now we're moving on. We're going to get off that subject of Palisade because that's not really too much of a connection with Palisade Sill. 168. I know I sound sarcastic, and I apologize. You know what? This is it, folks. The people that are jackasses to me really aggravate me. So when I'm enthusiastic like that, it's going out to them, like to kind of rub it in their nose. And it's not to rub in anybody else's nose. There's so many cool people out there. But I get that where I would just where somebody digs at you, and then you finally have something to dig back, but they're not going to accept it. I already know they're just, there's something wrong. So, anyways, off Palisade now, Palisade Sill, for my ding dongs out there that don't get the connection, just in case you missed it. All right, 168 to 169. The bullet comes home. All right. Now these are cursive. He's putting bullet and bullet and bullet and bullet. And I didn't get it in the first book and the second book. And he talked about bullets in there. It was like, okay. The Bullet Comes Home is the name of the story. He has the bullet and then listening to Eddie Arnold on the portable radio. So he's talking again about listening to radio shows and how important they were. But if you think about Bullet, he's talking about his car. And I didn't even highlight this yet, but I know he's talking, the bullet can only go 45 miles an hour. And I think, I didn't check back, but in the first story or second story, when he talks about his car, the bullet, I think in the second story, he says, Peggy was waiting for me right in the bullet, sitting in the parking lot when he was off fishing. So, or wherever. But he talks about the bullet. Now, talking about the speed of the bullet, he says it somewhere here. All right. The bullet's twin brother. I don't know if there's another Superman that was out there. I don't remember way back if there was a twin or something that Superman had. But he talks about the bullet's twin. But faster than a speeding bullet. Now he says something in the, I think I found it after. The bullet was important to me, and at a time in my life when I was gathering speed. So he's talking about how important the bullet is in gathering speed. Faster than a speeding bullet. Does that sound familiar? I wonder what superhero that's from. Faster than a speeding bullet. He brings in bullet in all of the stories, and that was supposed to be the connection. Besides looking for Lois and Clark, it all connects. And when you people finally start seeing it, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But Jack's magical imaginary story up in Wyoming is going to knock my socks off. So get ready for it. Because at some point it's going to come out, or they're either going to say, we can't hide this anymore, that this is the actual solve of Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt. There's too many things that line up in each book. And I have people telling me, oh, you're not supposed to use the books. You're not supposed to use the books. No, I solved it without the book. Those are they're just little hints that help me along to gather what was in the poem. Now, I gave you the poem and how it lines up in the one and only true solve. So you see, it's not that I take things out of the book to line it up or to just validate where things are and how they line up. But everything's lined up, the poem with itself, in an area, and how you get it and how you retrieve it and everything else. So that's just, it's all clues to pull it together. So the bullet was important to me at a time in my life when I was gathering speed, so to speak. Now it is only an important memory. The reason it's important, because it's the Man of Steel. It's one of his memories as a kid. Superman, everybody loved Superman, except for Lex Luthor. But everybody loved Superman. So you can't tell me Forrest Fenn didn't admire Superman along with Captain America. So that I thought was pretty big. Faster than a speeding bullet. I finally picked up today, Faster Than a Speeding Bullet, where all the bullet comments came in. So, all right. 173, The Price of Freedom. Now he says the price of freedom in cursive a couple times in that story. Page 173. I believe it's for truth, justice, and the American way. That's what I believe it is. And I'm not sure where that quote comes from, but it's in there somewhere. All right, 179. This is huge. He explains it at the end of the book. I've been criticized for the way I write and use words. I say too much. Mix verbs. I say too much. That's what he says. Okay? It's small writing. Mix verb tenses. Use commas wrong. And I can't spell. All right? He's telling you that he can't spell. So, Pleiades could look like Palisades, or he would spell it wrong. He's giving you a whole paragraph here of all the things that are screwed up in his writings, but he's telling you how he uses words differently. So, and I can't spell. I just read through my story above about Dizzy Dean and remove all the commas. I feel so good, I may just get myself another Dr. Pepper. He brings in Dr. Pepper a lot of times. Now, I'm not sure why. Those notes are done from the book, okay? I've given you the Superman connection, like, huge. He has comic book figures in there, superheroes. I've given you the Palisade in the constellation for Pleiades, where he talks about a hidden parking area surrounded by trees. So that's a Palisade. If you folks don't get the connection of Palisade by now, he's not going to put out any more books. This is a connection that brings it all together. And I know in my heart something happened. I told Forrest that I had solved it. Like I said, I don't think Forrest kept trust of knowing that it had been solved. And I think he told somebody. Now, I've reached out to Dale a little bit, Dale Neitzel. I should reach out to Doug Preston. Doug's the one who put the forward on this book. I know that some shifty stuff has gone on, but I just don't know how. I've asked for help. This is the actual solve, folks. And if you don't see it, then there is a level of intelligence here that that needs to be reached to gather all of these facts that I put together. And I know the one and only true solve is a long video to get through, but it explains so much and it pulls so much together. And this book is all just validation. And at some point, I can't go any further. There's no more books to judge. But Forrest putting this last book together, he's putting things right out there. Superheroes for Superman, Clark Kent, the sign Clark Kent. Aunt Esther, he has a story. If you like, he put it a few times. If you die with more than $50 in your wallet, you're a failure. Red Fox was completely broke. Eddie Murphy paid for his funeral expenses and everything, the casket and everything. Eddie Murphy did. Eddie Murphy loved him. He was a great friend. So that's that connection there with Red Fox. And there's he's bringing in how many times in this book, how many times he listened to radio shows or regular shows. Yeah, Matlock, he talked about Matlock. I forgot to write that one down. Or maybe I skipped it. I don't know, but he talked about Matlock was one of his favorite TV shows. There's so many connections with, I believe now, knowing all of this, that his treasures that he went into the woods with, as I've gone alone in there with my treasures, bold, he probably had a portable little radio at some point, and he would listen to the radio shows. That's what he did in the car. So those treasures were, and he says treasures, I'm not delineating any of the other things that he might have gone in there with, like the regular treasure, like his rainbow trout, but those were associated with it. So, and he talked about one of my other favorite treasures was on the on the Santa Fe Trail when Jackie Kennedy stopped and stayed with him. She left that little pint bottle. I found a pint bottle under that cross. I didn't dig down 4 feet like I told you folks, but there was a little bottle that matches. It looks almost exactly like the bottle that was one of his treasures. He said, as with my treasures bold. Folks, I just want this all squared away. I want you to realize that I am the one that solved this. Superman was huge in the whole story when you finally realize how it fit in. Now, as far as everything else, it's in my other videos. Some things I've, like I said, I'm not perfect. I've changed it as it comes along, and I learn more about it. But the actual place for Forrest Fenn's resting place that he had was at Palisades Hill, across the street from Palisades Hill, within 200 feet of the marker. It is a place where if you're at the home of Brown and you knew it was the home of Brown, you could literally go straight to the treasure by going to the next clue. Everything is there, folks. Every single quote that he said, it's all there. It all fits. It's all together. It's in my videos. Please start following. I need some subscribers. I need some people finally backing the guy who solved this and say, hey, Jack, you need to get shit or get off the pot. You're not putting a solve out there. You're not admitting anything. Forrest was forced to say that I will agree to say that the treasure was found in Wyoming to put the solvers at ease. He had what, maybe a month to live. He knew he was done. There was no way he could fight any of what they were pressuring him into doing. So he agreed, just for all of you folks. He literally signed a document saying that the treasure was found. He never said it was retrieved. Who knows? Maybe he bought the treasure. He bought the chest in, or some of the things in the treasure in Wyoming. So yeah, he found some of the things that were in the treasure in Wyoming. Forrest was still honorable, and I truly believe that. But his name is getting like smeared because of people that don't understand what actually happened. Forrest trusted someone with the information in December of 2019. That's what the controversy was. You people wonder, like, what happened? Like, there was a disagreement with the family that Forrest wanted to end the treasure hunt. He didn't want anybody else getting hurt because he knew that I had solved it. He was under the assumption that I retrieved it. But there shouldn't have been a timeline put on retrieving the treasure chest. I'm sorry, there shouldn't have been. So as far as that happening, Forrest entrusted somebody with the information and where it was. They went and dug it up. And they just to put Forrest at ease, sent a copy of the the treasure chest, dug up. Now, if you look at my videos with the ground cover, all right, I showed before and after pictures. I have before and after pictures. That ground cover is exactly the same as the ground cover in the treasure chest retrieval picture. So that right there, there's no way you can duplicate the dig marks that's on the left side of the chest and the natural mulch stuff that's on the right side of the chest, and the same grass that's in my pictures for where Palisades Hill, where the cross was. There's too much. There can only be so much coincidence, and then things have to start turning into fact. So watch my other videos. Follow me. I am pushing this, and I am going to be the one who's going to rise to the top, just like Are You Ready video. And if you haven't watched the one and only video, watch it, because all of this will start making sense. And I appreciate my followers. I appreciate the people who have given me, the 8 people who gave that video a thumbs up as far as the one and only true solve. You folks, you are smart. You are smart. And I'm not saying that there are people out there, there were over 600 views. I had 28 people that gave it a thumbs down. It literally had everything in that video, and I tried to make sure it did. Every answer, every quote, every T.S. Eliot and J.D. Solinger, how it all fit. And it fits perfectly. And it comes down to Clark Kent and Aunt Esther. So, and how important the cross was to Forrest, and how he was going to bring it in and include it in his solve. This is all of it, folks. My enthusiasm, I have to calm down. I'm starting to sweat because I know. And that's why I kept pushing. And I want you folks to know and understand exactly what happened. There was some shady stuff that went on. Whoever Forrest told, they retrieved the treasure chest. They put the video out, or they put the picture to Forrest. I want to remain anonymous. Remember, Jack? I want to remain anonymous. I don't want people hunting me down. Now he's Mr. Picture Perfect and wants to do books and Netflix shows. Well, Jack, you don't have a solve. You've got to come up with a solve. What I did, literally here I did was prove what the actual solve was. Now you have to disprove what the actual solve is. And good luck, because it's not going to happen. You made up everything. All of you, I believe, I really believe with the way it was announced after Forrest passed away that the family said, yes, Jack is the true finder. Any conspiratorial theories that come out, do not believe them. Well, this isn't a conspiratorial theory. This is the actual factual solve. And you guys have to come up with something that is better than every single hundreds of things that I put in here that all line up. The Clark Kent. I am the Superman of this solve. So do whatever you want to do, but people are going to back me at some point when they finally realize with everything solved. Folks, if you didn't see the clues that line up in the third book, as I said, there's not going to be another one. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know this was a long video. I didn't even want to make it this long, but I had to try to explain everything that was in here so you would understand it. And it's not put in with the other video. But when they make the movie or the miniseries of the actual solve, like I said, I have a video out there. They're gonna, whatever movie is out there, it's gonna be of this solve. And if Netflix is backing Jack for a solve or some kind of show or a documentary right now, they are making a mistake because it's all based on lies. And if it comes out, it says based on a true story, they need to rethink it. Okay, Netflix, my email is on the one and only True Solve video. So contact me. We'll make a documentary. I've got a good one for you. So folks, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a great day. Even all those fraudulent jackasses up there. Have a great day. Whatever you're doing. You're probably filming something in the woods right now, putting the date of 2020 on it. Good luck with that. Folks, until next time, give me a thumbs up, please. Follow me. Have a great night. Bye. I am Dave, the man from the East. The true man from the East there. Why must I go? If you don't get it now, you take that medicine of yours. All right, everybody. Have a good night.